Oh, welcome back to PodsDAO Pod, everyone. We're back again for episode 3, and we're gonna discuss amongst ourselves. We're gonna build in public again, build this PodsDAO with the Pods Pod. So thanks for joining us again. If you're listening in, if you're following on Spotify or iTunes or YouTube or this live stream, thanks for joining again. We're going to get straight into business. Everyone's here and ready to go. So let's crack on as we usually do with segment what we like to call the 20%. The 20% wins, the easy wins that we got done in the last week, and look forward to the next week. So, what did we get done this week? What's the progress within PodsDAO? We uh, are getting close with some more socials. Eve's set up Lens. We have to wait on a waiting list for Lens. We're up on Instagram and we're up on TikTok, so check those out. We'll be getting some of our clips out on those and doing some more promotion. GitHub, we're still waiting on some last confirmations to get on the logins for that. We have Jonathan's making progress with Mirror XYZ to get some transcriptions up there and get the pod up and do some blogs on the pod. We had another podcast reach out to us on Twitter. I'm just going to find out the name of it now. Bear with me 1 second. Golden Age Advocacy Pod. So just another one. Maybe some people have heard of that. So it's quite a solar punky kind of pod by the looks of it. What else did we get done this week? I'm not sure if we got it done, but maybe we can ask. John, did you said last week, I think you wanted to look into Cool Zone Media and some other. Did you venture into those fields at all,
I've never heard of
or
Cool Zone Media. I was talking about more like the
oh, maybe
ham
there's another
radio
one.
stations and all that type of stuff. So I'm just looking at Cool
That's
Zone
the
Media
one.
right now. Looks
Maybe that
pretty
was John
interesting.
trying to maybe Jonathan to mention that one. What did you learn from Ham? Was it Ham Radio then? What did you learn from those guys?
Well, I mean, it's a bunch of cranky old men for the most part, but a lot of it
Yeah.
is people who are just super interested into the tech and have like other jobs and or retired and just kind of just doing it for
That's what
fun.
we're all here for,
Yeah.
isn't it? For fun
Yeah, I
and
mean,
passion.
yeah, if
Yeah.
it's not fun, why do it? But you guys
Mm.
definitely seem like you're more on the track of wanting to turn that into something that we could all quit our day jobs from eventually. But
Well, yeah. Hopefully, those two things aren't mutually exclusive. That we'll have a bit of fun with it and make some,
yeah.
make it an enterprise as well. So I think maybe that's a project for ongoing. Look into Killzone Media, Rug Radio, and the rest of them, and find out what they do right and what they do wrong.
Well, I
So
know
maybe
not too many people in the Web3 space are actually making a living from podcasting. Unless they're like
no.
YouTube people, like BitBoy and, and Bankless guys.
Yeah, I found out something quite interesting this week, though. That CoffeeZilla just did an episode actually the other day on podcasters that have been scammed. And yeah, he was big. It's big. Some if you've heard of Theo Vaughn,
Yeah, yeah.
the comedian.
He's
Yeah.
notorious. Yeah, he's infamous. And then there's a lot of like podcasters and YouTubers that get I mean, I've been offered, tokens to shill, some project or another or referral link type of things that, podcasters and YouTubers get caught up in a lot of times. And then the referral link, they say, we're not affiliated, but go ahead and, click the referral link and help support the station. But then it turns out to be like a scam as well,
Total
so
scam.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Well,
get
well,
you.
these. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was just saying I get like Twitter messages and emails all the time from stuff like that, asking me to just shill this or that, and I'm just like,
That,
nah.
that's one of the things we're afraid of, isn't it? With putting out our data publicly about who's in PodsDAO, because we're worried that if we do a public link, all the
Yeah,
shillers and the scammers out there, I'll just go DM every one of our pods. Can I come on your show? Do my token? But
yeah.
anyway, so CoffeeZilla in his episode was saying that Theo Vaughn and other smaller podcasters in that orbit are making around 4 million a year, um, from podcasting, just running ads and all the rest of it. So, and subscriptions and whatnot. So, there's definitely something there. And of course, Rogan
Oh,
is
Theo Vaughn. Yeah,
Rogan's
now I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
the
yeah.
comedian
I was
guy.
crossing him with some other guy, like in the crypto space.
Yeah. Yeah, so here's what I found interesting. Those guys are making millions. CoffeeZilla's making, what did he say? 9 grand a month. So the YouTuber's making less than the podcaster's the point there. Anyway, we digress. Clinomedic, what's your thoughts on the directory and reaching out to some people? What do you think's the best way we can do that in the coming week? The coming weeks.
I mean, I
Some
share
next easy
your
steps.
I share your concern about like listing. If we list any contact information or handles or anything, then we could get spammers that just spam something out to the whole list of the people there. That's happened in another DAO, but I think we could perhaps do it just like listing links to their YouTube, their Apple Podcasts, stuff that isn't like contact information per se. Um, but and then so all that stuff would just be public information anyway. We can list
Mm,
just the ones that are in the network, in the PodsDAO network, and then we can also have that application form as well. And then we'd be able to, all of us would be able to see the people that are applying, and then we'd be able to implement whatever kind of decision making process is necessary to approve them and add them to that list. I think that's an easy way to start growing this. And then I'm also
yeah,
curious eventually to see if there's any way to go about this in more of an on-chain way, so that we're not just depending on
yeah,
Google Sheets and Google Forms, as easy as
yeah.
those are.
It would be much easier on everyone, wouldn't it? But that's cool that we're making, because I think that is going to be so crucial to for all the little podcasters out there, or not. I keep using the word little, but all the ones that aren't huge, basically, to reach out and puffle their heads up and see what we're doing, because it's hard for us to track them all down. So I think raising some awareness that we're about, like this last one I mentioned, who got in touch with us this week, they just found our Twitter and they were like, "Add me in," you know. So the more we can do that, I think it's gonna be easier for us. I also think this week some easy wins might be create some memes about what some try and get some messages out through memes. That can spread the message pretty well. What else have I got here? Eves, have you got anything? I think I need to have a chat with Peth. Or we need to engage Peth as a DAO to see what the situation is with the pods in metagame. See if there's any sort of route in where they can join PodsDAO. We'll have to see. I
The
think that's the yeah.
I was going to
Go
say
ahead.
the accumulated clip. I'm going to try and I guess lead that one because I'll be well. I don't have to put it together, but I figured I would put it together because I'm already doing some clips. So why not just do the thing. Um,
Mm,
so yeah, that's definitely something that I think, as you said, next sort of 2 to 3 weeks, very doable. Just needs sort of like a I guess a centralized place where to manage it from, as in where to send the clip, everyone's like clips that they want to be included, rather than people posting them all over in different places. I just need to kind of figure out some way to get them all consolidated, basically, to make it simple, so people don't get left out as well. Um,
yeah, yeah. Maybe
yes,
we can get them to send it to the PodsDAO email or something, like just
yep.
as a ready-made clip that they've chosen that they want in. Um, yeah, and we can maybe get some messaging out there about how like we're gonna coordinate that to get as many views on that as possible, kind of as a first go at it.
Well,
Um, it-
I'd be interested, just quickly. I'd be interested to hear
mm,
what Clinomenic's thoughts are on that in terms of because the idea is obviously like crowdsourcing, and I guess we've discussed like different sort of like economics and things in the chat. So, and I think like crowdsourcing in some ways like a very sort of like open and sort of equal model. It's a way to collaborate that's it's like a collective kind of idea. So what? Yeah, I guess what do you think? Have you ever crowdsourced any information or like clips like this, or like, yeah, what do you think about the idea?
I've only done that for newsletters, like for PubDAO for a while. I did a couple editions of this like writing in Web3 newsletter, and I would get like other little sections written by people in the PubDAO community, or they would share a link to their article, and I would include that in like a featured articles section. But I definitely think that it makes sense, especially if we can incent if it adds enough value that.
I think we lost Clinomenic for a sec there. He's
Oh,
come back. He's back.
can you hear me?
Oh,
Yeah, we can
he's
hear
back.
you now.
You're
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
You're back. Go on.
I think something like this, if it adds enough value and people are eventually, if it adds enough value, people would be incentivized to like cut their own clips at least close enough, and then maybe there would just need to be some retouching done to stitch them all together. But I definitely like that idea.
Yeah.
So what I guess maybe more importantly, what did you learn from your experience? As in, like, you know how I mentioned the sort of centralized place to get them all. Like, you can imagine if you're doing something like maybe you're talking to people on Discord and Twitter, and they're sending you links here and there. So I imagine you maybe ran into some similar things. What's the kind of, yeah, what did you learn from that? Like, what would
Yeah.
be helpful to, you know, like, have you got any nuggets that would be helpful for making this clip?
I mean, you're definitely right about there should be some kind of designated channel where people can leave the stuff so that you or anyone else helping to make this best of clip or reel doesn't have to scour all these different channels. But also beyond that, just um, making it lightweight. I mean, granted, what I did was different in that people would mainly be sharing links to things that they've already written, or maybe there were a couple times when someone wrote a small little, 300, 400 word thought piece about something, and I would include it in. But for the most part, it was just as simple as sharing a link. In this case, we would either be asking them to share a clip, or we would be asking their permission to edit a clip out of some podcast that they have already released. But I mean, I think eventually it would be great if they were incentivized to do it themselves. But maybe until then, PodsDAO would be the one doing it, or whoever would want to put the reel together would do that. But I definitely think you're right. Having it in one kind of designated channel, people can talk about this and share their clips and whatnot. That makes sense to me.
I
Cool.
think
Yeah,
some
maybe
other
we do a pop up Telegram channel or something like that can just be, well, could it even stay there, and that way people can post the clips and the links to there, but they can also have discussion about, hey, why don't we, you know, add a timestamp or this or a slide a thing intermediate, you know, slide in between them, or, you know, people could have their own ideas. We could refine the process. It's an ongoing thing. If we make a channel, it's like sort of psychological. You know, people come in the Telegram, they see it, oh, it's there, let's what's going on in there. Oh, straight away, boom. Oh, these guys make compilation clips, sick. You know, any new members, it's sort of immediately obvious to them. They can be part of the process. It keeps rolling. So yeah, maybe we just make a channel for it. You know what I mean? Maybe, I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Do we know how many of the podcasts in the network are already in the habit of cutting clips, like a couple minute clips of episodes?
It's
that's why
a good question.
that's why I was thinking when I put that poll out. Do you do audio and audio video? I think we only got a few responses, but it's a good question. But I think even if it's 3 or 4 or 5 that do video clips,
Still enough. Yeah.
it's still enough for now, I guess. But it's a good question because I think most people will still be on audio.
I mean, what's the great
Yeah.
risk of doing like a you know, public shout out on Twitter or something? So no, I'm not just saying to anyone and sending you clips, but podcasters, right? We check the clips. Maybe maybe it's an opportunity because people see that as an opportunity for them. It's an opportunity for us to get new members. If we're like, you know what I mean? If we're like, oh, this guy was fucking good. This guy's a good guy, a good host. You know what I mean? Let's get him in. Send in the link. You know what I mean? So maybe we do a shout out on Twitter.
That's a super good idea. That's a really good idea. What I was gonna say is mediocre compared to that idea. I was gonna say, like, even within the DAO, like if you have some folks who are still on audio, what we can do is get them to send their audio timestamp, and then we just chuck up a visual of their pod. It's like some shitty intermediary thing, so it's not just video then audio, still a visual, and that way they get in and maybe we just cut it in a way where they're their audio is slightly less than the video. But you know, if we've only two people, that 2 or 3 pods that do video, and we want to make a 5-minute clip, you know, we could throw in a couple of just audios with the visual of the pod logo over it, you know, so that's still something for the consumer to look at, you know, would
Yeah, I
still
mean,
play.
would it
But
help in that
yours
case?
is a better idea. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like that idea if I understand correctly. And so you're saying there would be like an image kind of placeholder for the podcasts that don't have video content. Like I'd be happy to have design thumbnail
And
stuff there
maybe a
if
little
that's needed.
squiggly, you know, the squiggly line that goes across with the sound thing.
Oh
Just
yeah,
as a,
okay. Oh,
because I
perfect.
think
Yeah,
that
that's even better.
because then maybe that's an incentive. People, if that podcaster who hasn't got the video clips together yet sees the accumulated video, it's like, "Oh, I should get my shit together and make video because the video clips are pretty cool. I should get there myself, you know." So I mean, it's all a process, isn't it? We're not all going to be perfect and there immediately. It's all like incentives to get people to move towards this. But you're right, that I love that idea of reaching out to other pods and just go, hey, we're putting out this accumulated clip. Do you want to be in it? Send us your clip, and if it makes the cut, you know, if it's not horrible content or whatever, like we'll put it in. Good idea.
Maybe we prioritize PodsDAO people, but that's why, like, because you said like make the cut, and I'm not expecting like a mad, you know, flurry of like people sending stuff in, but let's just say there was like, you know, 20 people, right? Like maybe the clip makes the clip too long, and there's, you know, like 10 PodsDAO people, for example. Then we got 30, so it's like we'd maybe prioritize, right? For now, we prioritize the PodsDAO people, and then, you know, the other things like you said, sort of like a bit of competition, whoever's like got the best one, or the one that we like, or
Exactly.
not even just best in terms of like production. You know, they might just be saying something cool, or we enjoyed the energy, or we could even just vote on it. We could just, again, if we're using the Telegram channel, the clips can be posted in there. PodsDAO votes on, yeah, that guy's clip's the best. We'll just vote. It's simple, thumbs up or whatever, or do a poll.
Well, that's not exactly that. It's going to be wasted content. We can always use the ones that we don't use.
Oh yeah, yeah,
one week.
yeah. True,
You know what I mean?
exactly, yeah, yeah.
It's not just one accumulated clip and then we're walking away from this idea. You know what I mean? So it's always going to be there. We should though, like, put out some sort of two things actually. We should make some sort of stipulation that, like, don't be sending us a 5-minute clip. Do you know what I mean? Because like it should be like, send us a 60-second clip max. Because if everyone chucks in 5 minutes, 4 minutes here, it's going to be like a half-hour clip. Do you know what I mean? So probably we should say, look, you'll only make the cut if it's 60 seconds max. The other thing is, like, we probably get more of a response if we put it out that we are willing to put in pods that aren't just crypto pods. Like, if we've settled on the idea that we're going to include pods that, and this is one of the things that we have to discuss today, like, if we're open to the idea of getting in crypto adjacent pods and pods that are like into some of the other ideas that we like or whatever, but aren't yet thinking about crypto, I mean, that could open the book to more people. That's all I'm saying. Send it in.
I mean, I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed to the idea, but at the same time, I always liked the idea of pushing forward the crypto message and then crypto values and like the sort of benefits. Being advocates of crypto. I mean, as a DAO, we are in crypto. A DAO is a crypto organization. Doesn't mean that you can't help people that aren't in crypto and vice versa. But yeah, I guess I like the idea of it being like a pillar that we're crypto. You know, that's. I mean, we're all crypto pod. I'm not saying, again, there could be benefits, could be a downside to doing it that way. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
So that's actually the first question we have in the next segment. So should I
Yeah,
the Pornhub music? Question. All right, let me see if I can do this.
Just really
Oh,
quick,
yeah.
you mentioned
Yeah.
you mentioned you're trying to get on Lens.
Yeah.
I just checked mine. I got a bunch of invites somehow. So if you share some wallet address, I can send it, and you can make a handle for PodsDAO.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, sick.
Yeah, Eves, you know about that more than me. Why is it that you have to wait on a waiting list? Do they sort of check your Twitter profile, see if you're a player, and if you're not a player, then you're bottom of the list? If you are a player, they'll prioritize you. That's pretty cynical, but it's not.
I mean, maybe it kind of seemed like so far. It kind of seems like they're inviting people in kind of manually, like how Farcaster's doing it. I don't know if it's just like an early stage approach, or they don't want a bunch of like bot accounts or something coming in.
Yeah, I mean, not just. I mean, this probably could be a long conversation, but hasn't Lens been around for like a year at least, bare
At least.
minimum, at least. Um, so yeah, I'm just wondering like how long is that invite thing? I mean, I'm not that. I don't know. I know it's Arve, it's Stani. What's his? I can't say Kolkachev, some Stani something. But he's Stani. You know, he's pretty. Seems like a pretty cool guy. And yeah, it's an Arve product, right? Or you know, an Arve platform. You know, Arve's always been good to the crypto ecosystem. You know, it's like it's kind of hard, one of those. It's maybe hard to hate on. You know what I mean? It's not like oh, Arve's the best thing ever, but it's also not like they've really done. They've been very consistent. You don't see a bunch of hacks involved around anything or any like scamness or anything. They seem to be like quite I don't know, quite straightforward, and you see what you get. At least that last time I checked in on them, that was kind of the vibe I got from them. But yeah, on that note, is everyone happy to move on?
On that note, Ave, if you're listening,
Yeah.
sponsor you to sponsor.
Yeah, we love you, dude. We love Arve. We fucking love Arve's the best thing ever.
We're gonna clip that right up there, and we're gonna put that at the front of the accumulated clip. get that out to some Ave, Ave folks. And on that note, hence the Pornhub music, and we'll move on.